Hey, everybody. Welcome to PVD Horror. My name's Dave, and I'm joined here with my co host, Brandon. And today we have a very special guest. We have Brick Thunder, also known as Miles McCabe, or other way around, I guess you could say. Uh, but the Brick Thunder is a YouTube content creator slash haunt creator slash home haunt creator slash animatronics reviewer, all that good stuff. But I think overall you guys will understand why it makes sense for Brick Thunder to be here because he is everything
Mhm.
Halloween. So
Yeah,
Miles, thank you so much for being here, man.
yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
No problem.
absolutely. Miles, just kind of starting off, you kind of caught people's attention just being a younger person, just kind of so into this world and into animatronics and home haunt stuff, right?
Hmm.
So, you know, it's just starting at a young age. I think you had in 2022, I read that like you had over 100 animatronics in
Hmm.
your yard display. And
Yeah.
now, leading up to today, where you're actually running your own haunted house called Five Points in West Chicago, which you designed and built.
Hmm.
So you kind of like have grown quite a bit in just a very short period of time, if you think
Yeah.
about that. Tell us a little bit about that experience and kind of what you're doing now with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it did grow very fast. Around COVID time, actually, around 2020, I posted a collection video, and that was just all of my animatronics out on the deck. And at the time that I posted that, I think, yeah, you said like 2022, I had 100. At the time I posted the collection, which was 2020, I only had about 15. But for
Mhm.
some reason, it went crazy viral. That video now has like almost 10 million views, which is just insane. So that's what really sparked everything because I then realized that people actually had interest in watching this type of stuff because before that I was doing just kind of more random stuff on YouTube, but as soon as I saw that there was actually a market for videos like that, I started being consistent, which helped a lot with YouTube.
Yeah.
Um, and I started doing unboxings, which caught on pretty fast. More collection videos, haunt walkthroughs when it was back at my house. And ever since then, I knew that for sure my career should be in haunted houses just because I love doing it. It's so fun. So my goal for a while now has been to open a professional haunt, and last year was the first year we opened.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now I need to know, where did the name Brick Thunder come from?
It came from Minecraft.
Okay.
So yeah, so like I was saying, I was doing so much random content, and for a while when I was like I started YouTube when I was super young, probably like 10 years old. And
Yep.
back then I was doing like Minecraft videos and stuff.
Talking about Minecraft, did you enjoy the film that came out this past year?
I did. Yeah. You go watch
Yeah.
it. It was awesome.
So I wanted to just share with you how I became aware of you and what kind of led to this connection. So I know a younger individual, his name's Harrison, and he's huge into animatronics, and he's been trying to start up his YouTube with just showing him off, and he's been building his own home haunt
Mhm.
progressively each year, making it bigger and bigger. And he's just so into it that he actually went out and met you at Five Points. And he wanted to let you know it's Harrison from Rhode Island in case that joggled your memory a little bit, but he's just so freaking into it and passionate about it, and like you inspired him to
Mm,
like continue making his thing bigger and bigger. I just think what you're doing is so important. Like he's a perfect example of how like seeing somebody at a young age just be passionate and do things outside the box and just take chances. I think
Mhm.
that's so important for people to see. Has that kind of like hit you yet, that what you're doing is inspiring to others?
For sure. That's definitely one of the best parts about it, especially the YouTube side. Like seeing how it does inspire people to do similar things, especially at such a young age. It's really cool.
Yeah.
mm. Yeah, because that's definitely been taken off in our community. We had another person with special needs that would collect the animatronics and then try to create like his own horror films with them. So it's definitely cool, and we appreciate everything that you're doing for that community.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So back in 2023, you were the winner of the Great Halloween Fright Fight, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, could you just maybe explain what that is and give some insight on why that's a big deal?
Yeah, so for a while they've run the Great Christmas Light Fight, which is also on like Hulu and Disney Plus and stuff, and that's been going on for years and years. And they did one Halloween episode way back in the day. I think it was like 2014 or a really long time ago. And they decided because Halloween is very much growing that to bring it back, and they brought it back in 2023. And basically the show is four home haunts around wherever around America. They all visit each one. The judges visit each one and then walk through nighttime with all the actors and everything. And then at the end, they judge and have a winner. And we did end up winning that show, which was so fun. I think that was definitely one of the most fun things I've ever got to do. Like with YouTube,
Yeah.
the fact that we got to do that was so cool. They brought out a huge film team and stuff, and
Wow.
it was pretty crazy.
As
Cool.
winner, what do you get for your big prize?
So we got an amazing trophy that I display in my room, and then it was $50,000, which we put to
Oh,
the
yeah.
professional haunt.
Awesome.
Nice. That's awesome. Now,
Mhm.
how does it feel to have, Chicago right behind you at every step you take, because we've seen on some clips that you're on the local news and everything like that.
Mhm.
How's that experience been for you?
It's been really fun. News is another thing that's been very helpful and a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Whenever guests show up at the door, we usually try to ask where did they hear about us, especially since
Hmm.
we're newer.
Yeah.
And a lot of last year was from the news.
Okay.
But yeah, there's been some amazing news coverage here and at the home haunt actually. The home haunt, the news brought about, I mean, it was a good percentage of our people, and we got about 5,000 people in one weekend at our house. So it's definitely been very helpful.
So yeah, Chicago seems really supportive. Have
Mhm.
you been a big fan growing up on Svengoolie? Because I know his impact in Chicago is definitely taken over for the horror genre also.
I, I have not heard of him.
Svengoolie?
No,
Oh
I have
man.
not.
Yeah, he's the longest running horror host, and that all starts in Chicago. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So
that's
he has,
awesome.
yeah. So definitely check that out.
For sure, I
Um,
will.
yeah.
So, obviously, like in order to be as involved in all this, you had to learn a lot about animatronics.
Mhm.
Also, like I'm pretty sure you have a pretty good sense of like how they work too, and like
Yeah.
certain brands and all that stuff. Like,
Mm,
if so, if for people maybe who have like a slight interest or they think they have interest in this world, how do they get more involved? Like an example of that, I guess, could be even like recently learned of Trans World Halloween and attraction show,
Yeah.
which looks absolutely amazing. I was telling Brandon at one point, I was like, we got
hmm
to go to that actually. I
Yeah,
think
you
that would be a
do.
lot of
Yeah.
fun. Like, but how do like people learn about that stuff and what things to do or whatever got you all the knowledge you have?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely starter like ways into the industry, like what I did with the animatronics.
Hmm.
Hmm.
There's pretty good value animatronics available at like retail stores like Home Depot and everything. And you
Hmm.
can find some pretty awesome stuff and create some cool displays with that. I always say that like with home haunts and displays, the main thing you got to focus on is lighting because lighting is just everything. Because from down the street, people will see your lighting. They're not going to see
Yeah.
a little prop.
Sure.
So I always tell people that because that's something that really helped us at the house. But yeah, animatronics are a great segue into it, and then conventions are definitely a great way to get into it as well. Just because there's many different like tiers of Halloween conventions. You have Trans World, which is kind of that big one, and that one's probably not the greatest starter one, just because that's for like the big haunts who are willing to spend thousands and thousands at the show to get something.
Yeah.
But then there's all the small ones. So we have Midwest Haunters Convention near us.
Yes, I heard
That
about that one.
one,
Yep.
yeah, that
Yep.
one's great because you get to meet everyone in the industry. You get to learn a lot about the industry. There's seminars and everything, and you really get into the community there. And then there's one in Texas. There's one on the East Coast now. There's a lot. It's definitely helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride over the last few years. I think that, animatronics and Halloween props have definitely surpassed anything decorating for Christmas these days now, because every
Mhm.
time you turn around, it's just like the Halloween stuff's out earlier. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
and Dave, you've been, setting up your yard.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I have not that many props or anything like that, nothing crazy, but definitely looking forward to, start up that to kind of decorate my house for Halloween time. Dave, what was it like for you doing that, like getting into it?
Yeah, so like I aspire to do the home haunt thing, but like
Mhm.
my laziness gets in the way every year. So I
Hmm.
procrastinate because I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it. And like some years I've built I like to build my own things, like just random
Hmm.
stuff I find around. So like it's fun. I'll be honest with you, the thing that I enjoy the most, I love on Halloween night. I love passing out candy to kids and trying to like
Hmm.
I dress up. I'm in my yard that's all decorated. I love the response you get from people, and I'm assuming that's kind of like for you the same. Like that's
Mm.
kind of
Yeah.
what draws you into it. Like
Yep.
seeing because like I have like a Michael Myers get up, and everybody's like taking pictures of my yard because I'm the only one in my neighborhood who really gets into it. I have people
Yeah.
taking photos with me and stuff like that, and I just absolutely love it. So
Yeah.
I'm sure when you the first few times you did it and you got reception, I can only imagine how like inspiring that must have felt to keep doing it.
That yeah, that's definitely one of the main drivers for us during the season because build season is so
Hmm.
difficult sometimes, and like going through all the city processes and stuff, it's definitely a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, getting to see reactions at the end of the season makes it all worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this year or this past year being like your first time, you said that was the first year for 5 points.
Mhm.
I mean, talk to me about that experience. I'm assuming it was anxiety provoking. It was
Yeah,
probably
Hmm.
a little terrifying in
for
like
sure.
what if this doesn't go the way I, but then also like obviously it went well, right?
Yeah, it was overall a very good year. We actually had a temporary occupancy, so this year we're still trying to get our official occupancy on the place. Um, but yeah, we were able to open. We got our like official opening, like confirmation that we could do it the day we were planning to open, so that was really scary. Um,
Okay.
but we were able to open and it went really well. We had a lot of people come, and it was super fun. It's definitely very different. There's a lot of learning involved with the professional haunt, like I was saying earlier with the city processes, like
Yeah,
everything has to be checked, everything has to be like actually fully to city standards and fire standards and stuff, which we weren't used to because of the home haunt. Home haunts, you can kind of
Hmm.
just
hmm
do whatever you want.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, but the return is pretty awesome.
I feel like you're already sort of a business minded person, even at a young age.
Mhm.
But you were even talking about like with YouTube, you were kind of sitting back looking to see like what are people responding to? What
Yeah.
Hmm.
what direction do I go? So I feel like there's already this business aspect to you as well. So
Mhm.
you're probably in the right place doing what you're doing, or you have the mindset for it at least.
Yeah, I think for sure at least half of the entire process is very business oriented.
Yeah,
I really like the creative side as well, and I'm here every day building and stuff. But a lot of it definitely is on marketing and on yeah getting through all the official like legal processes and stuff, which is a change from the home haunt.
for
Yeah.
sure. You also, from what I understand, designed your own line of animatronics
Mhm.
for HalloweenCostumes.com.
Yeah.
I mean, how fun was that? And like, how involved did you get in the process of it?
That's really fun. So I give them the initial sketches and then they come back with their artist sketches with some changes. We go through that process multiple times, and then eventually we get to a final character that we're both good with. I'm working on more currently with them right now, three more, but I've already released five now, I think.
Oh,
Five.
okay.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's been super fun. That's also one that's a really rewarding process. It's cool to see those in people's displays.
Yeah.
Now, what are the price ranges for your animatronics
The ones that I
that you
created.
designed? Yep.
Um, I would think the cheapest one, I wanted to do a budget one, so that one's under $100. I think right now
Okay.
it's like $70. And that one's like it sits on a door frame and it's like a door scare as you go into an entrance. So I wanted to do a budget one, and then the most expensive right now is probably around 400. I've got one that's like an actor operated dragon. That might be the most expensive right now.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I got to ask you this little controversial question, right? There's this whole thing about like extreme haunts, right? And I don't know if you ever saw that the documentary about extreme haunts that came out a few years ago. Brandon, do you remember the name of that one?
No.
I can't remember it now, but
Yeah, when the
anyways,
guy had it in his house.
yeah, it was McKinney Manor, I think
Yeah.
was that guy. And like there, a lot of the people that do haunts are very against like what his whole framework was and all that
Yeah.
stuff. What's your thought about like extreme haunts? Do you offer anything like above and beyond just the regular walkthrough with yours? Like how do you feel about like the touch pass and all that stuff?
I don't mind the touch haunts, as long as it's all like legal.
Yeah,
I wouldn't personally do that with mine, just because I like having an experience that applies to more people. I feel like when you do a touch haunt, it very much limits your audience.
Yeah.
Um, having the option is probably an okay thing, but yeah, I personally wouldn't do it. And yeah, McCamey Manor, that stuff is crazy.
Yeah,
But I think there's a market for it, but also like a lot of the guests that come here are worried that we are, and we have to explain that no, we won't touch you as long as you don't touch the actors and stuff. So I feel like it would limit your customers a lot.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that your thought about it because like it, for some it sounded like that McKinney Manor kind of like type haunt was really like upsetting to them because they were like that's so against what we're trying to do here because it's not about
Hmm.
visuals, it's not about creating something that gives you a sensation, it's about literally
Yeah.
feeding the scare into you, and that's not what a haunt is about, right?
Definitely not. No, and yeah, especially like here we're very focused on theatrics and actors and stuff like that. And you really shouldn't need to actually touch someone to scare them. If you need that, then you're probably not doing it right.
Right.
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
how many actors do you have working for you right now?
Last year we had about 30 a night. This year I think we'll probably have closer to 40 a night.
Are they
Okay.
friends of yours? Do you go through like a hiring process?
We go
How
through
do
a
you?
hiring process. Yeah.
Awesome.
There's also friends who come actually from out of state and everything to help as well, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That is a,
Now, do opening for like special holiday themed events like Valentine's Day or anything else like that? Because we have some, locations down this way that kind of like focus on it so they can do it year round. Is that something you're planning on doing?
Yeah, definitely. Last year we weren't able to just because of how quick
Yeah.
everything was, and like I said, we were
Hmm.
under that temporary occupancy. But this year we'd like to open for all the major ones, so Christmas, Valentine's, St.
Okay.
Patrick's. A lot of people do like the halfway to Halloween events, Friday the
yeah.
13th events, and everything. So we'll
Hmm.
try to do all of those.
Awesome.
Okay.
You guys won a couple of awards, at least a couple, right?
Mhm.
In within Chicago. What awards did you win? And like, did that seem to like affirm that you're on the right track with what you're doing?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was very rewarding. At Midwest, they did like a whole presenting on stage thing for one of our awards, and that
Okay.
was the Haunted House Chicago, and it was like a best new attraction
Yeah.
2024, which was really, really cool. And they did
Mm.
pictures and everything online. And one of the best things about that is now we can advertise that on the website. And when people see stuff like that, it very much helps. So that was awesome.
I want you to make a pitch. So if someone's coming from out of town, out of state, right?
Mhm.
Why should they come to 5 Points? Why is it different, a different experience than they're going to get from their local haunts? And yeah, and also like, I guess another question would be like, where do you see it going in the future for 5 Points aside
Yeah.
from some of the things you mentioned?
Well, our haunt is definitely different in a lot of ways, and we hear that from the customers too, which is really cool. One of the things we focus on a lot is psychology, because I love horror movies. My whole family loves horror movies, and one of the big like driving factors for the scariness of horror movies is the psychology behind how they do the scares. So for example, like one of my favorite rooms is we have one that has so many distractions before the actual scare. We have like this long, long hallway where there's just a phone ringing at the end and like no other sounds. It's just like calm music, phone ringing at the end. So you're like, what is going on? And there's no exit in the room when you go in. Um, and you get to the phone, there's a scare and everything, which I won't say. But then one of the walls actually like opens up and lets you out. So there's scenes like that where we focus on distraction and involving the actor in the scare instead of just like hiding an actor behind a corner and
Yeah.
telling them to jump out. Which I think helps a lot for the scare value of everything. We also have actors from everywhere, from the floor above you and stuff like that, which is kind of rare. And then
Yeah.
one of the things that I like to say, just because it is kind of rare, is we have 2 floors. So you do end up having to go into the basement of the haunt, which is pretty creepy.
I love
Okay.
that.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
Now,
Yeah.
how many people are allowed in a group as they go through the haunt?
We have had larger groups, but we try to limit it to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a fan of horror movies. I got to ask you this because we're a horror podcast.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorites? And also, like, what ones do you think have heavily influenced or inspired, scenes that you've created and things like that?
Mhm. I always say I think Conjuring is my favorite series, but
Okay.
anything A24 I love. I think Talk to Me, one of their newer ones, or I guess
Yep.
not newer now. But Talk to Me, Midsummer is awesome. Hereditary is awesome. I really like that style. I think A24 has definitely influenced the psychology behind The Haunt.
Yeah, that's very good.
Nice.
And obviously we're from Rhode Island, which is a state where the Conjuring house exists and all that stuff. So that's right up our alley.
Yeah.
But
What are your guys' favorite horror movies?
that's a great question. Brandon, I'll
You
let
go
you
first.
go ahead.
You can go
Oh,
first.
yeah, of course.
Uh,
So I'm a big Freddy guy. Nightmare on Elm Street is always that franchise has always been big for me. Lesser known, I like to always mention Brain Scan's one of my top films. That just hit at a perfect time for me. Texas Chainsaw is a classic, obviously. Newer films though, I'm definitely in with like a lot of the ones you mentioned. I love the Midsummer, Hereditary. All those films have been just amazing. Sinners was probably one of the more recent ones that really
I still haven't
impacted
watched
us.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
you gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Brandon.
touching on like everything that Dave said, I enjoy those films also. I'm actually a big Friday the 13th fan. Let's see, Lost Boys. Let's see, Waxworks was my first horror film I ever watched. And some of like the indie, like independent films from, underground films like Basket Case, Brain Damage, films like that. You know what I mean? I'm just all over the place. It's hard now, when you do a horror podcast to just be like, yeah, this is my favorite. I enjoy them all. So
For sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Miles, I think everything that you're doing is just amazing, and like doing it at a young age is good because you have so much time ahead of you to keep working on everything.
Yeah.
It's not like us where our time's getting limited, but at the same and I understand also that creates like pressure because it's more years that you probably feel like you have to keep doing more and more and more. But the one thing I guess we would love to share with you is the biggest thing that we've learned from talking with people is just like always being authentic to who they are and like creating stuff that they think is representative of who they are at that current time and how they feel and stuff like that versus always like trying to stay relevant with what's and it sounds exactly like that's what you're doing. You're doing what's right for you. You're doing the stuff you're passionate about. So I think that's super inspirational. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see where you go with all this. But I also hope that at some point Brandon and I get a chance to go to West Chicago and check out 5 Points. And
for sure.
I think that would be absolutely amazing. So
definitely. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. So tell our listeners where to find you on all your platforms on YouTube, but also where to find details about 5 Points if they want to follow and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so our website for The Haunt is 5pointshaunt.com. And if you look up 5 Points Haunt on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything, you'll find that there. And then I also have Brick Thunder, my personal channel, where I show like the behind the scenes and the unboxings and everything. And same thing for that, Brick Thunder on YouTube, Brick Thunder on Instagram, on Facebook, everything. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. All right, man. Thank you so much for taking this time with us. We appreciate this. This was great. And like I said, I can't wait to see where this all goes for you in the future. But excited for you for this season because it is right around the corner. So good luck with everything, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. No problem. And everyone, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
It takes a lot of love for a person to do this.